Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and thank you for choosing this video. I am Luzdeyvismenendezdiyprojects and this is your DIY project channel. In today's video, I am going to be teaching you guys how to do this amazing bathroom decor. And it looks elegant and I use pretty much everything that you see here from Dollar Tree. So I hope you stick around for you can see and you can know how to do all these amazing DIYs. Also, I really want to thank everybody that is new in this channel. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for sharing this video and for giving me a thumbs up. And if you are a recent subscriber, thank you so much for joining in. I hope you enjoyed these amazing DIYs. To start with this first DIY, I am going to be using this mason jar. And I'm going to be using different sizes. Also, I am going to be using these two colors as a main base for my whole entire set, for my whole entire video. And then I am going to apply this tape to all my bases, right? Because I am going to do an ombre style with using these two colors. And I also, additional to this paint, I also bought at Dollar Tree, I also bought glitter that I needed that glitter because I want to apply that in once I finish coating all these mason jars with this paint. And like you see, after I apply this tape, I am going to use first as my first color using this light blue, then the silver, and there you go. And additional, I am going to spray paint only blue on this soap container. I didn't add the gray on top because I decided to leave it white because it looks so clean and looks really elegant. Second DIY is to create this mason jar lids. Now these mason jar lids are all from Dollar Tree and they are for different purposes, correct? This one is to put coins, this one is to put also coins, or you could put flowers in it and you could hang those up. Also, this one are for planters, like you could add like flowers also. And this one is the same for the same purposes. Now, I decided to grab one of these star ones and to add it as one of my base. Since I am creating my own container, I'm just going to experiment here, and like you see, they all work perfectly and they're really great, you know. So yeah, if you get to encounter with one of these are perfect for you to create, and they're only $1. Okay, so now I am going to grab one of these and I am going to take out this wire that you see, and it could take out really easily. It's not actually glued, okay? And so I am going to take apart all these wires that you see right there. I'm gonna try to use my wire cutter, but if you don't find a wire cutter, you could try to use your fingers, but I think it's just easy to use a wire cutter. Some of them, they're gonna come out like really easy, you know, once you break them off by using it one time. And then that's how I was able to manipulate it and take them all off. I decided to flip the lid around and then add some glue to glue these wires like you see. I'm trying to get the correct size, right, for it could fit well. And once I got it, I am going to glue it to make space for each toothpaste that so in my house we are only 3, right? So we use, you know, we have 2 spaces, and so I'm just going to create only like probably 4 spaces for our toothpaste, and that's what I did. And so since it's single, I decided to glue a little bit more, like probably 3 more, right, so it could look thicker and it doesn't look that skinny and simple. For this lid, I am going to remove the bottom of this lid, correct? And so I am just going to use only this part right here that you see, and I am going to add one of those lid that I bought at Dollar Tree, and the one that perfectly fitted was the one from the star. So then I decided to remove all this wire. I know it's gonna be a little holes, right? But then I'm just gonna move it on the side where it doesn't show. And like you see there, there's a plastic and there's a huge hole. And so I decided to add one of those plastic that you could find at the Dollar Tree as a cutting board. And then I cut it around, right? And I decided to hide this plastic under, like when you flip the bottle, I'm just gonna put it underneath for it doesn't show, and I'm just gonna glue this part right there. And what I'm trying to do is just to hide the star, because I don't want the star to be visible, because those ends is just not gonna look good, right? And so that's what I did. Now I could have put the the plastic on top, but I decided to put it underneath, right? And then when you spray paint it, it might not show that much, right? Probably. Right? And so that's what I did. I glue both parts together for we could spray paint it later on. For this lid, I'm just gonna use I am going to decorate it with a seashell, and I am going to glue it in place with glue gun. With my spray paint, I am going to spray paint all of these for they could look the same. And voila! This is how it came, and it looks great, guys. I love how it came out. And now to add a little bit of decoration, I decided to add these beads to all of these lids, especially this one that the star still is noticeable, and I don't want that. And so to hide it in place, I decided to glue this in place around it, right? And then I had to spray paint it again for it could blend in with the lid. To this DIY, I decided to put this soap letters by using transfers. And so what I did is I decided to put it like right in the middle. I put this container soap and then the other one lotion. And so since it didn't went well, because I noticed that when you use transfers, right, on top of something that you spray paint, it can easily come out, right? And so I should have just did it individually instead of using the transfer. But okay, it's okay. Everything can be fixed, because what I decided is, like, once I put in this transfer, I decided to put some glitter on top of everything, right? And like that, it wasn't really noticeable. So the first plan was just to leave it just like this, simple. I wasn't going to put any glitter, but once I noted that the transfer was easily taking out the paint that I painted before I used the transfer, then I decided, oh, you know what, let's add glitter in it. And what the good thing about the glitter is that it hides the line that you see there where I put the tape over, because I wanted to put the ombre style, right? It totally hides it, so that's really good, right? And then that's what happened. But it came out really nice, and then I decided to do it to the whole entire set. With a blue marker, I decided to add some shadows to those letters. And if you notice, those letters were so black in the beginning, but after adding that glitter, it kind of washed away a little bit. And so that's great, because I didn't want those letters to be too noticeable. And it came out so nice. This was just an experiment, so I did wanted to show you guys what I did, right? And so that's what I did, okay? And so now I am going to add some shadow to those letters, right? By using a marker. And after you use this, I decided to add like a little bit of one of those clear paint. It's for protection for the letters or the words that I'm actually adding the shadow right now to these words, if it could stay in place. I totally recommend you to do this because you don't want that to wash away and then the hard work would just eliminate, and you don't want that. And so this is the final look. It looked really great. Now if you notice, it kind of dripped down a little bit of the clear because it kind of happened, but I tried to be discreet and I tried to eliminate a little bit. I'd still need to work on it, right? But this is kind of like the final look on one of them. For this DIY, I am going to use one of these trays. Now, Dollar Tree provide this kind of tray that is silver, but instead I am going to be using this one, right? Because I'm going to challenge myself to create a different look on one of these trays. I know the other one couldn't match because it had the bead that definitely matches with my decor, but I want to use the other one because the other one doesn't look too tall. So the blue one is the one that I picked, and because it looks flattened, and then I changed the color. Now I decided to grab one of these wire and I bent the last part, and I am going to add some marbles. What I'm doing is every time I am inserting one marble, I add glue because I want to hold them in place really well. And so now I am going to grab these two and I am going to bend it a little bit, and I spray paint this seashell in silver, correct? And I am going to glue them right at the edge of this plate, correct? And then I'm just gonna glue it just like this, like really like popping out, like it looks like a 3D. And I am going to add this same another one right apart from the other one, not too far away, but kind of like a really nice distance, for I could add the marbles that I just created, and that is going to create a pretty nice handle, correct, of this tray. So now I am to finish this tray, I am going to add another marble right at the end, for it could hide this wire because I don't want the wire to show, and so I'm just going to add this marble. And it looks so cute because it looks like the actual marble is coming out of the shelf, right? But instead it looks like a handle. For those who doesn't know, I have another channel where I share recipes and hair tutorials. I purchased these at Dollar Tree, right? And these are gonna be absolutely amazing for my bathroom, and it totally matches with my decoration. I used 3 bundles to set up this bouquet, and it looks amazing. Look at it, guys. Look at the final look. It looks amazing. I love the way it blends in with all the things that we just did. It kind of looks fancy. I love it. Now I did purchase these candles that you see right here. It looks so amazing. I love because it has kind of like the shelf look, right? And it had these colors. I also bought this aroma also at Dollar Tree, and I like it because it's blue. Then I grabbed these and look how it came out, guys, the soap container, right? So it looks really, really nice. I love the way it came out, and this is kind of like the final look. I added those towels. I love the way it came out. Look at those colors, look at the blend. It looks super amazing, guys. I really love it. It is super beautiful. I love everything that I purchased. It came out really nice. Look at this, guys. Look at this. If you like what you see, comment down below and show me some love by giving me a thumbs up, and share this video with your friends. This 5th DIY, I am going to transform this candle holders, correct, that I also purchased at Dollar Tree. By using glue gun only, I decided to make a pattern, right? To make a sea coastal coral pattern, and it came out really nice. So I started making a shape in the bottom first, and then I added like a line just like this, but not a straight line. It was kind of like crossover lines. It was crazy lines just like you see there. And then I added those leaves that you see there, those just like that. And I repeated this same step, but really crazy. It wasn't something like you need to do something perfect. This is not a perfect thing, right? Because like you notice in the real life, it's not even a perfect shape. It's really, it looks beautiful the way it is. And so I decided to do this, and I left it clear just like this. I didn't add any glitter, and I definitely didn't spray paint it. I decided to leave it like that because it looks amazing the way it is. And if you like this look, you could definitely try it. I used two glue guns, two glue sticks, right? And the glue sticks, you can find it at Dollar Tree. You could find a package of 5 and for $1, and it totally came really great. And there you see, I am finishing one only, right? And then I'm gonna show you both of them at the same size. And what I used this for was to put the cotton, right? And also the other type of cotton, like the makeup remover or something like that, or the nail polish remover cotton. And so I added them inside, and it looks amazing because the white is just blending with this beautiful counter holders, right? But if you want to use it as a counter holder, definitely you could do that, right? I bet it will look really nice. I'm also going to be using these as a candle holder maybe in the future, but for now I'm just gonna use it as a decoration for my bathroom. With this DIY, I decided to make my own boat by using this tray from Dollar Tree. Guys, I love this tray. I don't know, I was like, what should I do with this tray? I have it, I bought it, and I was like, I need to use it for something. And so I decided to paint it in white. Then I added some lines by using the ruler, and I didn't draw it. I only draw the line with just pencil. I didn't use any marker, and that's it. Now I decided to add some shelf in this boat that I'm going to create, and I am going to be using this wood, and I am separating the spaces that I am going to be using. I might use 3 shelves, I don't know yet. So with this space, I am going to draw over or use a pencil to draw the spaces that I'm going to use in this wood, and then I am going to cut the ones that I am not going to use. I did have to purchase these woods at Walmart because Dollar Tree only carries the small ones, and so I did needed the jagged sticks, right? And so these jagged sticks come 45 in a pack, and it only cost me like $3. So that's great price, right? So I'm probably going to be use this in another DIY, right? So that's great that I was able to find this a bigger size. So like you see, I am cutting the leftovers of the words that I'm not going to be able to use, right? And so now I am going to just rehearsal really quick what I'm just gonna do, right? I am not gonna glue this now, right? Because I'm just gonna get these as my sample of where I am going to add my shelves, right? So that's pretty much what I am gonna be doing, right? And so now I am going to grab another wood stick, and also the small ones, right? Because the small ones are also going to play a part of this DIY. If you're going to do a boat like this or similar, I recommend you to do not cut entirely this wood that you are going to use for the shelf, because I did the mistake of cutting the hole in, like I decided to cut it, right? And so I totally regret it afterwards. But yeah, but you will see at the end why I'm telling you this. And so then I am going to be gluing in place with the leftover of these glue sticks, right? And then of this glue, of this wood, and I am gonna hold it in place together just like this, right? There you go. And I am gonna add a long board, because that is the one that I am going to be using for my shelf. And I am going to repeat this step 3 times. So there you see, the wood that I cut previously is gonna help me to put this little wood stick in place. But before that, I am gonna grab one of those little woods and I am gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut also the ends, correct? And I am going to glue them together just like this, because I am going to make a base. And like you notice, I already spray paint all of these in white because I want to match this out with the boat. Okay, and so now I am going to get these and I'm going to glue in the middle, and then I am going to glue this right there in the middle, because that's what is going to help me to do the base. And so the bottom of that, what I did at the bottom of those sticks, I am going to add glue and I am going to glue them on the boat. So that's not the ones that is not painted is not glued yet, because I don't want to glue them yet, right? I'm just trying to make this correct and I don't want to make an error on this, because I only have one tray and I don't want to mess up my decor. Okay, guys. So yeah, just like you see there, I am gluing it and it came out really nice. And the same thing I'm gonna do in the middle and in the bottom. So the reason why I cut the little board is because it wasn't going to fit, right? It wasn't going to fit on the top, because remember it has a shape, right? And so it wasn't going to stick correctly. But if you manage how to do it better than me, then that's great. Okay, so now I am adding the second shelf on the middle, and then I am going to add the third one as well. And I think it came out really nice. I really love the way it came out. It's super nice. And it pretty holds very well, okay? But then at the end, I decided to add a base under it with the ones that you see that they're not painted. I decided to add that on under each shelf, right? Just like these. And I'm going to paint those as well. Now I could leave it like this because it looks amazing the way it is, but I decided to paint it in white just to make it really nice. And then the ones that you see in the middle in between, I also cut the ones that they had the circle mini, the shape. I cut the shape and then I left it like flat just like this. And then with the ones that I have leftovers, right, I decided to group them up just like this to make a nice triangle, right? And I'm gonna glue them all together, and then to hold them in place, I am going to add a little piece in the back, right, and glue them also. Okay, once I finish, I am going to be gluing this part right on the top of the boat for it could look like for it could make a nice decoration on the top, right? And before that, I am going to spray paint everything, right? And then I am just gonna glue this right there, like you see, like in the middle of the boat. And the space that you see around it, right, I am going to hide it with um hard paper, yeah, that I have left over in my house, right? It's actually from it's actually that paper is from Apple merchandise. So I decided, hey, I'm not using it, why not? So I decided to cut it like this, like pretty much the same size of the board, right? And then I'm just gonna fold it like really on the bottom, and then I'm just gonna cut it for I can make the shape of the boat. And I repeated, I had to cut 3 sizes, right, because it wasn't long enough, so I had to glue them in place for it could look like a boat, and it came out really nice. Now the remember that I told you in the beginning that do not cut the the um, the wood too much and leave it like right at the end. It's because when I put this paper in, the shelf was not touching the paper. So that's why I decided, hey, if somebody else do it better than me, then that's gonna great. That is gonna look better. But either way, I could still glue another wood stick on top of the shelf, right? And I could make it seem like the wood is touching the outside of the boat. So like that, it could look a lot better. So yeah, just do that and it will look great. Now, you see the part that it looks like it's touching. I decided it's touching the boat. I decided to add some yarn just to decorate that area. You could put whatever you want. You could even use rope if you want, but I decided to put yarn because that's what I had available, right? And then I decided to get these fishnets that I also purchased at Dollar Tree, right? And I cut it a little bit just because I'm just gonna use only one little bit. That's it. A little bit of that's it. For I could put it like right in the top. And so I managed to group them up, and then I hold it in place with a yarn and in both ends, and then I glue those ends at the end, like on the back of the boat, sorry. And since we already working on the back, I decided to just put the handle already, to add a handle for we could hang this on the wall, and so that will look amazing. Now you notice that there's some glitter out in the around it. Yeah, I added that just to blend it with the decoration, but you don't have to do that. It was just for it doesn't look like paper like, right? And so I decided to put some glitter, and I also decided to spray paint it with silver, and that's it. But it's just the outside, it's not even the inside. The inside I do want it in white, right, because it's for look like a calming color, and so that's it. And then I created this boards by using this wood stick that I told you, I mentioned it earlier. And so yeah, I did it on my own, right? And then by using just scissors, right? And then I glue them like right in the bottom just to make a little nice decoration, right? And then I added some seashells on the top of the shelf, right? For it could look like a really nice boat, right? I love the way it came out. I didn't expect this to look like this, but it came out really nice, right? And I added a few things there, right? And it came out super nice. So it came out really nice for my bathroom decor. And I hope if you do this, let me know if it came out really nice. And let me know if you like it or not, okay guys? For this DIY, I am going to be using these frames. This one I am going to spray paint it in gray, and then I am going to use these that you could also purchase at Dollar Tree. Okay, so now I am going to use the paper of this frame. I couldn't find another paper, so I'm gonna use this one. And then I am going to add tapes in the border because I want this to fit well once I put this inside the frame. Okay, so the purpose of adding the tape is just to create a border for when I use when I add the things, the cement that I'm going to be using on this particular decoration. I don't want it to get all like to mess up the decoration, and so that's why I added this tape, right, to make it right, and so I can remove it once I finish creating the design. So now I am going to place the star that I am going to be using for this purpose. I am not going to glue the star at all. I'm not going to paint the star. I'm just going to use it because I just need the model or the shape of the star. And I am going to be using this lightweight spackle. And what I'm going to do is I am going to place this spackle in top of this paper and try to not to use on top of the star, because I'm not going to use a star. I'm actually going to eliminate a star, but on the spaces that you see in white, that's where I am going to use the spackle for. And then I was gonna use the civil handle, right? But at the end I didn't use it. I decided to just use the wood stick, right, to make a really nice cool design, and that's it. And now you don't have to be so perfect while adding this, because the purpose is just to make like if the star mark her sand or mark herself in the sand or something like that, something like that is what I'm trying to do. And the same thing I did with the other design. After I let it dry for a few hours, I remove it, correct? And then I remove the tape that you see on the border. And I went really gentle because I didn't want to break the paper. Now I do recommend you, instead of using paper, use another type of like a hard paper, right? Like a little bit of or cotton, because it could break easily. I mean, I was really gentle, right? And I was able to manage, and the paper didn't broke at all. So I'm really happy for that, right? So yeah, I removed the tape really careful, correct? And I like the way it came out. Now, if you want to paint this in a different color, you could do that as well, right? And it's gonna come really nice, really easy, super beautiful. Now I wish I could have found in Dollar Tree another design, like a seahorse, or another type of shell, right? But I wasn't able to find that. So I did find these two, and I created these two, okay? And so I hope you definitely could find these at your local store and you can make this design. It looks really nice. I left it in white or in the same color, right? Because I wanted to blend it with with the other decorations, right? And I also wanted to do something calm, something beautiful. So yeah, I left it that way. If you like it, let me know in the comments down below, right? Which design you definitely like. For this DIY, I just spray paint this little shelf, this floating shelf that Dollar Tree offers, and I was able to get 3. And so I added all these things that you could find it at the Dollar Tree store. So I added these small items, right? And it came out really nice. I really like it because you could save so much spaces. Now I know I didn't spray this really well, right? But it's okay. I was able to manage. And so I added these little things in there and there. And this is really great for small spaces. I love the way everything came out. I love the colors. Let me know which one is your favorite. If you're visiting for the first time, welcome. And I hope you consider subscribing. And nevertheless, thank you so much for your love and support. If you're returning, thank you so much. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. Visit my other channel as well. And of course, my website. All the links will be listed in the description down below. Thank you so much. Hope to see you in my next video. Ciao, guys.